Alright, Altars by Kronos is bringing you another game here. This is going to be the finals that I played in. This was the Dune, which is what I played, versus Atog, which is what he played. We have a tie at this point. We both only lost one game in the tournament. Now we're facing off. I'm actually really surprised I picked the Dune because it's everything but blue, and there's no power at all. So it's basically a completely unpowered, no blue deck, and everything is real. So at this point, I threw together random cards, so the ones in there do not look the best. It was just whatever I had thrown together to have some fun. So we played at a place called White Dragon Comics. It is one really fun, awesome, chill place. A lot of old school players. If you listen to anything I've done before, or you know anything about altars and where I do them and stuff like that, it's at White Dragon Comics. I try and get there as often as I can. It is old school type where everybody is just really chill, a lot of fun. So let's head to the video and see what happens. So at the start of this, I was shocked. I mean, opener is 2 Mox, Volcanic Island to a Serendib Efreet. And I'm thinking to myself, oh god, how am I going to answer this? So my best answer was an elf, and I passed. So it's not looking good for me so far. Especially since he's, what, Ankh, Land, Factory, and I can't quite see what else he got in his hand. Oh, Strip. Oh, that'll do it. Strip. Into an Ankh. Hit me for 3. And pass. Let's see, I drew birds. Let's see what else I draw here. Let me use the elf to play a bird. Play a plateau. Lose some more life. I'm already at 15. This is not looking good for me. But my deck is very resilient. So the fun thing about my deck is, because it's everything other than blue, I have room to play bolts, chains, plows, disenchants, all kinds of fun stuff. Speaking about plow, there it is right there. Now, I try and wait till upkeep, but I decided I wanted to see if he had a counterspell. He did not have a counterspell. Swing for 1. He's trying to decide, should I activate my factory? Do I take the chance? He just takes the 1 and I pass turn. Let's see what else we got out here. He's going to activate the factory. And there's a quick bolt. And a time walk. Holy power. There's another factory. He's going to take his own Ankh damage. Now I'm going to untap and see what I draw. Oh, looks like I got some cool cards in hand. I'm going to slap down the big guy. There he is. The Dune. Let's see how he deals with a 5 toughness. One thing I learned about, I played a lot of counter burn. I used to play Blood Moon and Energy Flux deck, and I used to punish people who played greedy land bases and artifacts, and it was a lot of fun. But the one thing I learned from it is Sonic Blasts, Chain Lightnings, Bolts, all those things are great, but they don't really help you against a 5 toughness. Oh boy. Alright, well here comes another Ankh. Now he could hold up a bolt, activate his factory, pump it, bolt it, kill my Urnum. Be a 2 for 1. But it looks like I'm going to swing for 5 total. I'm going to make him have a decision here. Oh, there's a disenchant. Goodbye, factory. Alright, I pass the turn. He draws. Let's see what we got. Another, oh, that's 6 damage per land. Good news is my deck at this point ran 3 birds and 2 elves and 3 chain lightnings. I recently changed it to 4 birds, 2 elves, and 2 chain lightnings. Now just to save, make sure that I definitely have the game sealed here, I will play a Chaos Orb and leave it on the table. So now he's on a very, very short clock. That was quite of a turn. Let me tell you, start out with an opener like that against me and I play an elf and you strip my land. Most people, that would be it for them. At this point I was waiting for a balance or something to happen that just ended my life. And here's where he's like, okay, I'm gonna play the factory. But what ends up happening here is he's staring at my Chaos Orb going, well, I guess that doesn't save me. I'm dead. That's it. We scoop. We're gonna have quite a crazy time here. So I'm gonna scoop ahead here, just give you a little bit of a fast forward. Not cut it completely out for you. So you can see sideboarding actions. We usually take quite a bit trying to decide things. I am not the best sideboard person. I'm not gonna lie to you. Never been my strong point. You think I'd be good at it since playing since the start of Magic, but unfortunately, it is not my strong point. All right, let's see what we got. I'm actually at this point trying to decide if I'm going to keep the hand or put it back. Oh, there we go. Looks like I'm good to go. I know we had a little bit of discussion because he was kind of confused. He didn't really understand what deck I had. Doesn't actually follow normal procedures or protocols. It's not a normal deck. I kind of forgot I had it back in the day. I used to play with a buddy of mine, Eddie, and his dad used to run a card store out of his 2-car garage, and those are some of the best times I ever had in my life as a kid, playing at his house. We actually had quite a bunch of games going on back then. All kinds of stuff. That's where I learned Dungeons and Dragons and all kinds of fun stuff. I give a lot of credit to him and his family. They did a lot for me back in the day, and I don't know if I can ever repay them for everything they've done. All right. All right. I drop a Soul Ring by accident. Pretend nobody ever saw that. And here he goes. Volcanic Island into a Black Vice, instant damage. Now his Atog is a little different. I did play against another Atog deck, which is going to be posted on here also. It was actually my previous Atog deck. They ran some white involved in it so I can run balance and some other things that I needed in it, especially Armageddons, things like that. I ended up winning. It was a really good deck, but I'm not much of a person for Atog. I like breaking the wheel, not doing the same thing everyone else is doing. But I did play against it. I did end up beating the gentleman who ran it. He did play a heck of a game. He actually did pretty well too. Even in a previous tournament when he ran that deck, he did pretty well. And here's more power. Ancestor Recall, draw 3. We actually get in a conversation here, so I'm going to bounce for a second because we kind of had a little laugh about each of us ended up killing people with an Ancestor Recall and or a Brain Geyser at one point in our lives, and it's really funny to make the other person draw when you have a Black Vice out, and they end up dying from it. Looks like I'm trying to get off of the total here. So let's see exactly what I can cough out. Right now I have double red, green, and white, and 2 generic. I'm going to sit down and play a crit ape first, see if that's successful. He's going to think about it and instantly bolt the ape. And this is where I take advantage of the situation and I throw a gargoyle out. After that, I pass turn. He's actually laughing because he's like, I guess I should have waited till end step. So that's just a little learn. Don't wait after the person plays it. Wait until they get to their end step if you're really concerned. If they have open mana, they might save it for counter spells or just about anything, or another big creature like I just did. I lose an ape for gargoyle any day. He slaps down a dib. He has a factory. Black Vice. I'm already taking damage. He's not really taking anything. He's taken 1 from his own dib so far. Sorry about the dice off to the side. I didn't realize they were off camera. This was actually only the second time I've ever done any kind of recordings. So I am definitely not the best at this stuff. But I'm learning. Alright, Hammerheim. Now we're going to laugh a little bit about the Hammerheim because most people underestimate that thing's power, but that should be a given that the person has an Urnum Djinn. Those Djinns are very, very nasty. Urnum's like a tomato. Everybody pronounces it differently. I barely speak English and that's the only language, so there, I'm going to play another ape. I'm going to pass turn. Another factory. Oh boy. Now he has to think. This thing can pump. If he attacks me, I can block. Add 2 to my gargoyle to make it a 2/4, and he does nothing. Except taps his own creature, basically, in a sense. So it's a bad idea for him to attack. Unless he has a lightning bolt or something he can kill my gargoyle with. That's actually why I took away a chain lightning and added a 4th birds of paradise, because between the Shivan dragon I play and the 4 gargoyles, it's really good to have extra red. I'm gonna plow the dib now because I wanted to see if he had a counter spell because he has double blue. He does not. So I'm going to attack 2 in the air. I'm going to play a Birds of Paradise and pass turn. Now I did empty my hand, but I know my deck really doesn't have dead cards. So there really isn't anything I play. There's only a couple disenchant targets. I really don't run artifacts. I run a Chaos Orb, a Soul Ring, and a Library. Sullivan Library, that is. So you have a couple targets to disenchant, but most people, they're expecting factories at some point. I do not run even factories in my main deck. I actually re-altered those City of Brasses. I made them look like Star Wars. So I basically took the Tatooine look with the 2 suns. Gentleman purchased them off me. He was actually a very, very kind gentleman. A lot of you guys that watch my altars and things like that, I really appreciate everything. You guys have helped me out, helped my family out, helped support my kid with extra needs, and the rest of that money goes to my daughter, trying to get her. She's an Irish dancer. She competes in a World Champions in Ireland almost every year, and that is extremely expensive and not things that I can actually afford normally. So I rely on a little bit of extra here and there to try and help out. Looks like he drew another Mox. Mox Sapphire. I'm still waiting for these counter spells. Typically you don't play too many, but there's typically like 3 in an Atog deck. Mana Drain and 2 actual counter spells. That Mana Drain is devastating. He's still trying to figure out how to kill this gargoyle. He's counting up all my mana right now. Technically I have 1, 2, 3, 4 untapped. So I can make it a 6. So unless he Sonic Blasts or double bolts or something like that combination, he doesn't have a way of killing it. Gargoyles can actually be so annoying. You can stop shiving and all kinds of crazy stuff with it. He's going to alter, or activate rather, and I'm going to strip it. That was one of the first alters I've ever done on a strip mine. I was not comfortable doing the extended, didn't even know I could do that yet, so I created that strip mine. It is a beautiful strip mine. Just gonna attack for 2 and bait him and see what he does. Alright. If I'm not mistaken, this is where some crazy stuff goes off. Yep, there's the Black Lotus. I'll speed this up a hot minute. He actually takes a while trying to decide everything. You can see a gloom and all that in his hand too. So he's really trying to calculate all this stuff out. He's going to use the add 2 colorless. And I has 3 black and 2 colorless. He's going to go through his deck, pull some stuff out. Let's finish the shuffle process here. He's really got to find an answer to try and get himself back. But he's also worried about all the white I play. But the challenging thing is with this deck, because of the mana dorks, I do play mana dorks because I can't use a Mox to block. Yes, it takes me an extra turn, but a Birds of Paradise, there's a reason saying bolt the bird. You know, Moxes are awesome, but you instantly bolt a bird. You don't instantly shatter a Mox the second it goes out because there's going to be better targets. But bolting a bird, that's almost a given. So at this point he tears. That's one of the cards he looked up. I can't do anything about a terror, so he's trying to decide how and what else he can possibly do. This is, I think, where I kind of spring it, because I realized he kind of shot his load here a little bit. So I remember thinking to myself, oh, this is a window. If I'm going to take it, I got to take it now. Yep, he's expecting Gloom to give me a hard time, as I discussed before. And this is where I'm reading, because his cards are all, I believe, like alpha and beta versions. So if you actually read that Gloom, it states that white spells cost additional 3, but it actually states, instead of enchantments, it actually reads Circle of Protection. Because back in the day, it wasn't really a whole enchantment thing to worry about, it was just the OPs. So in a minute here, I actually have a discussion, and I'm going to forward it along here a little bit, because at this point, I'm trying to, okay, wait a minute, I have to find out the Oracle text. So I'm trying to remember what it is. So right now I'm asking permission, can I look some things up and check some things out here? Alright, sorry about that. So basically he's going to tap his Mox and his Soul Ring. He's going to play a Wheel of Fortune. And this is where I'm like, well, I expected a Red Blast and a Power or Div or something like that. I was waiting for something big to Red Blast. But he just gave me a new hand in a deck that is very diverse and has a lot of potential to explode or wipe the other person's board out in a heartbeat. Now the same thing goes for Atog. You'll see all kinds of stuff. You'll see Black Vices, you'll see all kinds of stuff blown out of an Atog if he gets a new hand, which is what he did. I think I see a Dib in there too. And that's, I think, what he just pointed to. Should I be playing my Dib? Personally, I think I would at this point. I'd be too afraid to activate the factory with a guy who plays red and white. The amount of factories are pretty much useless from another player because I have 4 disenchants, 4 plows, 4 bolts, and at this point I had 3 chains, which don't really affect factories, but still. And there's the Atog. He's trying to end the game right now. I'm just counting my mana sources up here. This is where I'm like, okay, add 3, add the white, I'm gonna plow it. So now he's like, okay, wait a minute, we need gloom. Again, mana dorks are a wonderful thing. Most people forget about the mana dorks. They're too busy doing other things. They think of them as creatures. They do produce mana, but for some reason, I don't know why, they kind of get overlooked sometimes. So there's nothing he can do about it at this point. He's going to double check things and then decide, what am I eating to my Atog? Now again, this is old school, so this is pretty chill. So you do things out of order, that's kind of fine. As long as the other person's okay with it, they don't have a problem. Big tournaments and that, you don't do that. But these smaller ones for fun, they're a great old time. What I do right there is bam bam, double bolt. So now he's really starting to wonder, okay, what just happened? I just did 6 damage, he's going to kill my ape, that is fine with me, I kind of expected that. This is where I go into my sideboard. There is an enchantment you can look up. There's not a COP by name, but it is a card that gives you an extra. So it's 1 blue, or I'm sorry, 1 white, 1 colorless, and it's protection against black and red. So it's not as good as a COP red, but it does give you both. So here's my way of saying, hey, I'm going to empty your hand. Now I'm going to go do all kinds of shenanigans and try and kick your butt and end your game. So now I'm deciding, okay, hold on a hot second, let's Demonic Tutor. And in old school, especially with all this going on like Magic, sometimes we miss things, sometimes we forget things. If there's anything you spotted in here that we did not, please leave a comment, let me know. I am going to skip ahead. This is the part I thought I was at earlier. Basically, I'm trying to look up and you'll see me grab my phone here. So that's why I kind of fast forward through these things. You'll see me looking some stuff up. And there's the card right there. See that little enchantment that'll come out in a minute. He actually is reading it right now. So he's reading this going, wait a minute, this isn't a COP, but this is really cool. Most people do not see this card played. I forget the name off the top of my head. If you remember, let me know. Now what we learned is the Oracle text was changed for Gloom like I thought it was. It was white enchantments. So that's not going to do me any good, so I throw it back in the bin. I'm just going to fix my land there and play a birds and pass. Don't ask me, I have a problem with half tapping and full tapping. I like my stuff scattered out, so as you see here, I'm trying to fix my board here, so I'm going to add a whole nother layer to my board because I hate having things half tapped and full tapped. I'd rather have everything full tapped. But I like everything scattered across. I don't stack my lands, I don't stack my creatures. At that moment, he was passing turn, so I started on tapping, but he was kind of thinking to himself, okay, hold on a minute. And there I am, making sure I'm following the Winter Orb. there's the big bad boy I looked up, Mr. Shivan Dragon. Made a new altar of him, actually, by the way, which is pretty cool. Now I'm going to play an elf just in case some kind of shenanigans happen with an Atog on a time walk or something. This is where he's basically just kind of laughing with me. I'm like, wow, that's a clutch play right there. And he just top decks. I believe that was another Gloom. And there he is, pointing to that Shiv and saying, man, I have no answer for that thing. He's going to play another Gloom out. We're going to laugh a little bit. I believe at this point he realizes the game is over. Because I can do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically he's a little over the Shivan. So I can't kill him in one attack with the Shivan, but he doesn't know what else is in my hand. Right now I'm going through my graveyard. That should be an indicator what spell I'm going to cast. If you figured it out, put it in the comments, let me know. And swing with my elf also. So I'm going to swing for 6. He's not going to have any blocks. He's not going to cast any crazy spells. So at this point, with no blockers declared, I will pump 3 times, which he expected 4, and he would still be alive. But this is where I'm like, okay, I can still do this. I'm trying to think how to play this spell out. The damage is already done. Oh wait, Soul Ring. I knew I had the way to do it. I kind of forgot I had my own Soul Ring. But what I didn't remember is, I don't believe I played a land. There's the land. There's the regrowth for the lightning bolt for the win. And fist bump, a lot of laughs later, and a good old time. I believe we stayed for quite a while after that, all of us, just having a good old time. But hey, if you have any comments, ideas, anything to help me out, just let me know. If you have any thoughts about what you want me to alter or anything like that, if you thought of some cool stuff, please just let me know, and I will mess around with it. If I have the card, I will alter it. I also do alters. You can mail me your cards, and I will do them for a greatly reduced price, basically just to cover cost and get a few dollars towards my son's extra needs builds or my daughter's builds or something to keep the family afloat a little bit. But basically, I don't look to make a lot of money with it. I just take whatever's made and put it to the kids and what they're doing. So at this point, if I'm not mistaken, I do lay out the current deck. So I am going to fast forward a hot minute. Again, this is not the best version of each card that I had. You will see my deck laid out there. I'm going to finish it out here. Those are lightning bolts I tested. I'm not really a fan of how they turned out, but I tried to make them more realistic in my mind because I like to paint the front a little blue and give it some color. And there's the Dune. What I ended up doing is I changed out the Disintegrate to a Fireball. I dropped 1 Chain Lightning and added 1 more Birds of Paradise. Believe it or not, I'm actually tempted to put an Armageddon in my sideboard or 2 and turn it into a Geddon type of deck, but I don't need it. I have too much fun pumping Gargoyles and Dragons, and that's actually what he's pointing at. Basically, Gargoyles are not easy to remove with regular direct damage. Urnims are not easy to remove, and neither are Shivan Dragons. So basically most people waste their bolts and their direct damage on the apes instantly or the birds. They have a hard time with the Gargoyles. They end up using plows if they red and white. And by the time the Urnims come out and the Shivan Dragon comes out to finish it, you really don't have many answers left. I do run 3 Suchis in my sideboard at the moment here because I was afraid of Abyss. I thought, hey, Suchis are a good way to change out. but I'm kind of toying around with the fact of playing Artifact Blasts and Gordon Crossroads to get around Abyss and to get around like City in a Bottle, stuff like that. I'm not afraid of Blood Moon, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy.